But you have to submit and take action in order for this strategy to work. See, I'm trying to piece this together. We have to do something. We have to go through some mental training. We have to go through some physical training. And it may hurt a little bit. Like I mentioned before, your brain might hurt a little bit. But it's okay to just turn it off and come back a little bit later. All right? I have been a litigator, trial attorney, and estate planning attorney for over 25 years. Prior to law school, after the military and college, I entered into the financial planning and tax preparation business. This was my part-time business. It was in securities, mutual fund sales, annuities, life insurance, variable, whole life, term, and I prepared taxes and represented a few clients even before the Internal Revenue Service, all prior to law school. My biographical outline is on my website, and when you visit my School of Economics, you will see it there as well. It's in more detail there. Not failing to mention that I am also, and just as important, an ordained Baptist and non-denominational minister. I share this just to let you know I am skilled and highly qualified as a 21st century minister, grounded in the realities of our spiritual consciousness and material reality. As the scriptures teach us that we must be able to live in this world, but it also instructs us that we are not to be consumed by the things of this world. I pray not that thou should have taken them out of the world, but that thou should have keep them from the evil. Keep them from the evil, right? John 17:11 and 14 through 15. The members of the church are constantly being reminded that even though they are in the world, they should not be of the world. See, and that goes back to our initial statement that money is the root of all evil. See, there's money and then there's evil. The evil deals with your spiritual condition. The money deals with the material world. Do you hear what I'm saying? I'll make it plain. I'll try to make it plain and break it out to you. So that way I leave you a little thought process there. So that way thought process, so you can connect the dots. I can't tell you everything. It's better that way. This is boot camp. We are not being obedient to this mandate. We are consumed by the things of this world. And just look around. Look at these reality TV shows and where they fighting over money. And they have lost their way. Cussing each other out. My. My calling is to save souls by making sure that the people understand what God has commanded that we do with our lives, by first helping you to understand what these specific real-world requirements are. And then you are able to creation, get it, yourself. Because we are the creators and not destroyers. So let me make it plain. In the Rite of Passage program, excuse me, you will create an outline of your best self. In writing down your dreams, desires, and aspirations, because you'll be making a contract with yourself and discovering your purpose. You see, when you put this in writing, not only does it become a contract, but it takes a life of its own. In order for those words that you have written down not to come to fruition, you got to lay down on the job. It's like a football player who breaks loose and he's running and nobody's around, and he's running, and all of a sudden he just falls down on the 1 yard line and fails across the goal. Wrestling with wickedness in high places. Look at those two things, but one is good and one is telling you, no, that's not going to work. Why should you do that? Go back to the number one, why should you make money and try to improve your life? The number one why. The next step is to actively engage in the implementation process after we have written it down and stated our dreams and desires and what we want to do. Now is action time. The next step is to actively engage in the implementation process after boot camp throughout the remaining curriculum. So in boot camp, we're going to organize ourselves and we're going to get our minds right and we're going to create an action plan for our life. And then the rest of the remaining program is designed to implement that plan that you have laid out in writing. And not only are we going to implement it, we're going to have the funding to do it with. This is a renewing of your mind ministry, but we're going to do it one bite at a time, which will be a life-changing event that will continually reinforce even after graduation, because we're still going to be here. We're still going to be able to support you. When you go to the website, you see that it's a three-pronged ministry. It's a three-pronged ministry, and this is your ministry that I'm giving to you. The Temple of Inner Peace and Prosperity, Boardwalk School of Economics, University in your home, and then our business and legal department. Mighty, it's powerful. But you have to be prepared. You have to get the knowledge. So you have to wrestle with yourself. Wickedness in high places in order to overcome that and then throw that to the ground so you can work on your personal growth and development. Don't worry how long the course is right now. Because remember, learning is a lifelong process anyway. But this is a ministry that you can fellowship in your spiritual nature and also grow together in your material nature, your material world. Spiritual nature and your material world. They have to coexist. They have to be in balance. Don't worry how long, like I said, don't worry how long the course is right now. We'll get to that. And if you have been visiting my videos and website, you already know. But that's really not important right now because your salvation is at stake. Your salvation is at stake. We know times change, goals change, but you will have the framework in place to live a Christ-centered life by following certain God principles, in which I make clear in my 7-day orientation program, which is a warm-up for the remaining course to get you oriented, focused, and started on your journey. Principles that are reinforced throughout this life-changing 21st century ministry. See, normally when you go to church, they give you some words that sometimes don't make sense, and then you go out the door. These are principles that you have to live by. They are tangible principles that you can touch and feel, that you know that you have to live your life by. And if those 2.5 million people who are incarcerated had this message in their heart and these laws written down inside of them and been made aware by their parents and their ministers, most of them would not be locked up right now. This year, once again, is rapidly coming to an end. Can we define insanity? It is defined as the state of being seriously mentally ill. Madness. You're seriously mentally ill. They say that you are gone mad. You have lost your mind. And this is why you are not able to come together as God and nature intended. In nature, you do not have eagles trying and fighting with each other to hang out with pigeons. Before I move on, let me point out that races, different ethnic groups, races, they want to be with their own kind. It's normal and natural. It's nature. But when a cat thinks it's a dog and vice versa, you should know something has gone wrong in nature. The problem with this is that America is an experiment in being different, in being that different races have been put together. And when one race says, like the dominant race, oppresses and enslaves the other, then that's the problem. In America, because its abiding principles are united we stand and divided we fall, and we are one nation under God. However, even though these are our guiding principles, it doesn't change the fact that one race is a construct, that a race is a construct of nature. That's the way God intended. He assigned us to a team, and we're supposed to work together. That might be the divine trick of it all. Can these groups work together? That's why he plucked us out and set us apart and put a test before us. Can we work together? So we're being tested right now. And so far, we're not doing a great job at all. We're not even doing a good job. Can we work together? And okay, doing the same thing each year, again and again, expecting different results, while the world around us is constantly changing, while each new generation is being further degraded because they are not being taught what it takes to become and stay competitive. They're not being taught who they really are, that you are an eagle and not a pigeon. So by definition, they are lost. And when you're lost, that means you have been easily led astray. This is our generational curse. Ignorance of self and who we are and what we are capable of, with the means of achieving and maintaining greatness. Matter of fact, we have been not only taught what we are, we have been misled by our own leadership as to who we are, and they are not trying to bring us together. By the way, they use this greatness, our inherent greatness, to create this country. Well, let me rephrase that. This country was already here when they got here. But they allege that we rebuilt this country and it was built in their image. However, they have lost their way because they, the dominant culture, they believe that they built this all by themselves without our help and the help of other immigrants. They have become a delusional people. As a result, become even more schizophrenic, which has led to their world decline, taking us with them. Could it be that God is attempting to get our attention? That we need to change our ways and start thinking again? Time is going to pass, no matter what. And in a couple more years, we'll be once again looking to elect another round of politicians telling us the same old lies and deceptions. There's a saying, stupid is what stupid does. Stupid is what stupid does, which is a product of insanity. Can we step back for a moment? And as we look ourselves in the mirror of deception and those around us and ask, not what's happening. You know, you go to a brother, what's happening? What's happening? But ask instead, why do we keep being this stupid? How can we cure this madness? How can we cure this madness? The answer is our leadership has been consumed by the things of this world and this country, so much so that they do not see themselves as their brother's keeper. It's not just them, because we even boycott and do the same thing to each other. The problem is that our leadership is profiting from this exploitation of its own community, while we are turning our back to one another in our indifference. In other words, we have been consumed by the things of this world. We care more about things than we do our relationships with one another. Because if you take away all this materialism and things, all you have left are your relationships. All you have left is one another. How can we expect some outside force to swoop down and do for you that what you are unwilling to do for those whose team you have been assigned? This doesn't mean that you can't love and